Mongolian Empire was more about like a knowledge and collaboration.
Yeah.
But also they had like inside things, and that's lobbyists. Let's say at that time they were making that as well. That's why it's got um, like destroyed because of the everyone has their own interests, and after they in the end they just split. The family split. I mean, what you can expect after 300 years of ruling, it's normal. It's not many generation. So it's like you see so many things, and I believe like that time, the prince, I don't know, like the aristocracy, or like
In
they were
Mongolia.
traveling as well in Mongolia. They were traveling as well, and they probably went in the different places, and they what they did, they didn't do the way, for example, Catholic did, the Catholic Church, the way they influence, the reality after thousands of years. I feel like the reality was completely different than we're living now, and I feel like that time they believe on um, uh, they believe like on the source of the God, the good and bad, and I feel like it was not, the right things, because Mongolian did like this. Okay, I have my way of thinking, you have your way of thinking. We got to figuring out. We want a peace, both of us. We don't want to like have a war. We want to have a peace. Let's figuring out how we can, achieve that peace with conversation. Understanding our like culture different, and like our traditions, and so they were like open to learn. Then Catholic, for example, they opposite the Roman Empire. From my perspective, that was like what I was
Yeah.
understanding the history. Is like,
You're a deep thinker. I like this.
yeah, and that's they, for example, didn't completely from the fear. You know, they did a, they were just destroying. They were not. If you're not like following us, we destroy you.
Yeah.
That was from the beginning, and now I feel like that's the different the way they approach.
Well, you know, it's it's really fascinating because just kind of talking particularly about that area in Asia. You take countries like, for example, even Japan. Okay, I love Japanese culture. I love, the technologies that come out of Japan. Japan is a really evil fucking country. Okay, they have caused mass amounts of manslaughter unimaginable throughout the 20th century. And it's like, push all that shit aside, It's like, who gives a fuck? Like, they make great cameras, they got great robotics, they make great food, they've got great technology. Like, who cares? Who cares? And it's kind of like almost where we kind of like live today in this like precipice of a bubble where societies have changed from being extremely evil to being now like supposedly like normal and peaceful, and like you said, like almost like there's a sense of like Christianity, a sense of religion, a sense of connection. But are we gonna forget all the shit that happened like literally 90 years ago?
Yeah, from my perspective, what happened in the Second World War, and like in the First World War, what from my observation and learning about the history, America influenced a lot. For example, the idea of the dollar that they had, the idea of the dollar,
Mm-hmm.
the way they want to influence the dollar, and the way they want to like make the dollar more powerful. Japan was one of the first countries who accepted that time, who started to work and collaborate with the United States in many different areas that time, and they were open enough to like make that work in the best possible way. So like when you look at what happened 19 years ago, or like after like when the first world war come, that's will have all the plan of making dollar strong. And dollar become very strong, and the hippie movement, for example, on the 60s, like the way hippies influenced the world, like the rich hippies was traveling around the world and putting the seeds like of the to the people about the freedom, about about all of that John Lennon was about the peace, and like the way he like achieved his success and started to preaching the peace as well, like in his own way. I feel like some people understand the power of the words and the power of being a leader of the world, like peaceful, like peacekeeper, and at the same time understanding the consequences of it, of being a peacekeeper. For example, from my perspective, what happening for the last 100 years, the people who was carrying the peace, they're all dead. They've been killed, and they some other group of people, like, who was influenced by that and who continue to bring, this idea of the peace to the population, that we continue to develop, or like the idea of the freedom or liberation. I feel like it's all connected to this free love idea. But what is love? Love is like everything. Love has all colors, like me protecting my family and doing best for my family, it doesn't necessarily be good something for your family, you know and just like my wealth, what I have, because of the history, the heritage. And I'm feeling like it still continued in that way, and I'm feeling like we slowly started to understand the power of the community, the power of the global community, that we're getting more and more connected because of the internet, the idea of the internet, and the way the idea of the internet developed itself.
It's so true to your point. I remember just kind of going towards with your own culture. I remember a few years ago, there was a YouTuber out of Mongolia, like very far up in the mountains, very, very rural community. I don't know how they had internet. I don't know how they were posting videos. All I know is that they were posting, and they were doing Mongolian traditional throat singing with, like, traditional folk like stories, stuff that. And I'm like, me sitting here in the United States, and I'm just like, what am I watching? This is amazing. And then, like, my brain is like, oh my god, I'm watching something that's literally over 5,000 miles away from me. Completely different time zone, completely different climate, completely different place. Like, it's not even Mongolia. Like, you can go right now and check up about like the Swahili tribes, or people that are in Senegal and Kenya and Zimbabwe, like, live, like right now. This is bananas. We're able to connect to cultures and societies we've never had access like this to before. Never.
Exactly. And the knowledge that we can actually collect from that, and actually like
It's
understanding what matters
insane.
for us, like, and have a voice to express, and understanding that the time that we're living in, and the influence that we can actually bring to the world, to the influence, like, I believe it's something positive. I look like, okay, everyone has their own influence. Look at, like, Donald Trump, the way he influenced, the way the insanity of the United States is a level of insanity. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
when you look at the perspective of creation, and look at the perspective of being creator, and have a power to create whatever you want in the scale that you want, like, I feel it's incredible in one way, and to understand as a creator that, nothing it matters actually when you're there, or like on top, you know what I mean? And you do absolutely anything to make it happen with all your tools that you have. I feel like
Yeah.
it's a great example of seeing how the media, and the influence of the human being, the arrogance, and the idea of, like, a great America, or the idea of the dream, that he's still kind of like caring. You know, I feel he has some, like, good side of it, like, as a me just looking at the human to human, like, he has the ideas and he wants to kind of like improve some things. I understand that. And the same time, I'm feeling like it's not healthy for other countries, him being, like, in the way he is right now. For example, like, many other countries would be influenced by this, and
Mm-hmm.
it's create way more, I call it like, clarity, who is who, for real.
Yeah. Yeah. You bring up a really good point, and I hear your perspective. The thing about our country right now, more than anything, is what we've been struggling with is full on control of the narrative. Okay? We're America, the thing about the United States that differs us from Europe is the United States is built on three fundamentals. Don't tell me what to do. Let me say what I want to say. And my land is my land. That's what we fought for. Those are our three fundamentals for the United States. Because we've had mass media manipulating and trying to control our agenda and forcing us to believe this, and I'm a gay American, trying to force us in this perspective of, this is what's going on, and just literally terrifying the fuck out of people for absolutely no reason. This is the type of shit, excuse me, Nazi Germany used to do in the 1930s. This is the type of things that Russia is still doing now. Like we're trying to say, oh, Russia's bad, but you're manipulating and copying exactly very similar to what the Russian government is doing with the oligarchs, the control, the dictatorship, and so on. Trump, to your point, is the man is insane. I don't disagree with you. However, the people that he now has backing him are very intelligent individuals that not only can change a system, but may be able to change an entire generation. We may now see a completely different shift of what America is in the next 60 to 75 years because of those people in particular. Not necessarily Trump, but the people that he's now putting in office.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes, and what do you think? Like, for example, I feel like from my perspective, like Elon Musk being in the White House, it's so funny. It's just
It
so
is.
funny. I'm laughing
With,
my ass
with
every
remark,
time I'm watching something. I'm like,
uh,
seriously? I'm like, seriously? This is what's happening right now. This is how you want to like a kind of like navigate it towards. Oh my
mm-hmm.
gosh! I'm like that. I mean, it's a different the reality that he's right now doing his best to create in in American minds, and I think again everyone decide the way they want to take it. It's not going to be one way; it's going to be many different ways, and everyone kind of
Oh, yeah.
take advantage of it, and will kind of like develop this idea to the next level. And this is like the idea towards like towards that dream, And I'm feeling
Mm-hmm.
like he giving all these ideas for the reason to the people, for the reason, and he always understand his own reasons why he wants to do that. And after he's just navigating the
Yeah.
flow, he's like, okay, these people like going toward this, I like it, and he will go with them, for like a little bit until he says like, I don't like you guys anymore, I don't want to like. He's like have this idea of himself that he's in charge of himself, decided how long he want to go with who and for
He
what.
does what he
He like
wants.
exactly all the time, and I'm feeling like it's not because he just confident about himself, like he confident about his powers that he have, and the knowledge about these powers, the way he can navigate. This is what from my perspective, and the funny part of it, like the way he acting towards that, in very like funny, positive, joyful way, no matter what's going
Like
on in
making
his
this,
life, and
you
he's
like
just
making
doing
the
all of that.
Cybertruck.
Yes, that is so
It's
funny. Oh my gosh, I was just like, yo, amazing. I love it. I love it. I think that's great from my perspective. I think it's very positive. It's super cool. It's showing like who we really are somehow, like
yeah.
it's just entertainment, and everyone is just kind of like to be entertained, you know that's the reality. And when you're looking, for example, I was looking for the circus like many years ago when the gypsies was traveling and doing all these acrobatic things, like when we were living in the middle age, or like this time of the when 15th 16th centuries, like people like to be entertained all the time. They just love like to see like somebody cutting someone's head. For example, it was a time of the our history where it was the entertainment.
Yeah. I mean, believe it or not,
It's
actually, France
crazy.
can.
It's a crazy way of
You want to?
entertainment works.
You want to know something wild? They didn't stop using the guillotine until 1973 in France.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow, it's crazy.
yeah, they really enjoyed that, you know. But hey,
I think it's crazy. I don't know. I'm a completely don't like violence. I don't like action movies, for example. I mean, I watch sometimes, but I just don't watch. It's all this brutality. I'm like, it's just so brutal. Why do you do that? Like
I
in
like
real life, it's
comedies.
like I like comedies too. I like romantic comedy.
All about the artist. That is the whole purpose of this podcast, period. And you have a really valuable tool. You can share this with artists, people that are creative, someone that can enjoy this podcast and really enjoy the experience of Lost in the Groove. So, with that, let's jump back to today's episode, shall we?
Any comedies. I think like just so funny, like the situation, like from the like this very incredible situation, you can make like something positive, you know. And
Or something really stupid. Like you're like going through the movie, and you're like, oh my god, this man is so dumb. Oh my god,
I
he's so dumb.
like
Yeah.
right now this new like a shows right now on Netflix. I
Which one?
I watched this bonding. Bonding. Do you remember about the BDSM and like kind of like a dominatrix and it was so funny the way they're
Oh, yeah, yeah,
showing
yeah, yeah.
up. I don't know if you
Yeah.
watch it a little bit, and
There was a
it's
guy that
just
dressed
so
up as a penguin, if I'm not
yeah, yeah,
mistaken.
exactly. Yeah, 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 yeah. Exactly.
Okay. All right,
That
we're
was
talking about the
so
same show.
funny. It's very funny. I like that show because it was like in such a funny, positive, like very light and rainbow way. You know, I
It,
I
it's
love the
also very
idea
real.
of it is, especially New York. I know. I live in New York. I know that. Like it's
Especially in
crazy.
Germany, honey. I don't know if you've been outside of
Germany, I had
Portugal.
no. I have. I don't know. In Portugal, I don't know. I just know
I
in,
don't know
in New
about
York.
Portugal. No, but like in certain parts of Europe, there are like literally sex clubs. Like there are dominatrix pretty much every
Wow.
block.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
cool.
I wouldn't bring your kids, but a lot of people bring their kids to these cities. A lot of people. Oh my god! I'm
Oh,
telling you,
this is
one thing
so
Americans
funny.
are great at is bringing kids to the wrong places at the wrong times in Europe. Because like they refuse to like have a little understanding of the language, and they have like no understanding of European culture. They're just like, nice building. Yeah, that's a sex club. That's not a nice building.
Yo, that's actually true.
Oh
I can
my
agree with
god!
this.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you.
Wow.
Sorry,
Which
I didn't
countries
mean
did
to.
you visit? Which country did you visit in Europe? What part
I
of the Europe?
I've been to Italy and I've been to England. This was
Did you
bef-
like it?
I
Italy
liked
or?
Italy. I was in Rome. I mean, it was very touristy. Like I wish I would have toured like outside, but
Hmm.
yeah, Italians are very nice people. If you don't act like a dumbass American and you just be nice and you be, try to be part of the culture, it's great. And then I
Yeah.
was also in Britain. Britain is, how do I put this? It's cold, it's nasty, and it's dirty, but it's fucking fun. It is a lot of fun.
Yeah, they British like to have fun. They know how to have fun.
They're always drinking, honey. Like
Yeah, they
they go to
always drinking.
church
Yeah,
and they
Australian
drink.
as well. Australian the same.
Really?
Yeah, Australian drinking a lot as well. Yeah, big drinkers. All Australians. It's so interesting. And they just love
Mm-hmm.
it. They just enjoy drinking.
Got to pick up a
Just
hobby
really
somewhere, no?
enjoy. Just like some people really enjoys drinking, and I feel like British, it's these people, Germans as well, Norwegian.
They don't have
They really
weed.
enjoy.
That's the problem. They don't have weed. If they had weed, they'd all be stoners. I guarantee you, like, Britons would go from, hey, little love, to, hey, little love. Just get all loopy and weird. I don't know. That's my theory.
I think so too. Actually, if I would like choose between drinking or a joint, I will choose a joint.
But no, I'm being serious though. Like, we're there's this idea, right? We were like been talking about communities. You mentioned like even Germany and Norway and Finland and Sweden and even with Great Britain. They all drink. They're all heavy drinkers, and Maybe it's, people say like, oh, it's a nasty habit. I don't know. I feel sometimes you can have habits that are not nasty. They're actually benefiting you. It's a habit that can get you into a routine, get you into, but they just got booze and liquor and alcohol, and it's like they're always drunk. I mean,
But this
liver
is what makes them
disease.
happy. I don't know. It's just kind of like weird, but it is what it is. It just makes them happy, and you get to kind of like accept that. But at the
What's
same
weird?
time,
It's
like,
not. It's not a distinctive American. It's not a distinct European thing. It's like you find this in America, you find this in Australia, you find this in Asia, like everywhere in the world. That like there's places that people just love to drink.
yeah, South Korea as well in Asia. I think Chinese. I don't know. Like I know that South Korean,
What's it called? Soju, the rice,
the
alcohol.
rice
I
drink.
forgot.
I don't
Yeah.
remember either. I know like sake from also rice one.
So I think it's
With
soju. I think it's so.
Korean, I don't remember.
Honey, that stuff is so sweet, and it's like almost 40%. You just keep drinking.
Wow.
It's like, drinking like a can of Coca Cola, but it has like a lot of alcohol in there. And you just keep drinking like one after the other. But you don't feel the alcohol because it tastes great. I kind of
It
understand now
is.
why they're drinkers. Sorry.
I don't know. I'm like sometimes about the idea. Like think about the idea of alcohol, or like I was just today was sharing this idea of the opium. When like in America, when all they started to develop the rich Europeans started to move to America, and like not just like these prisoners from Europe moving to America. It also was like a rich who didn't like the way monarchy was or something like that. Some of them moved to America as well, but most of them moved to the coast of West Coast. And I feel like because that time West Coast was completely different than we see the West Coast right now, and the same time it been influenced a lot by European like culture, things, the wineries, the some traditions. You can go to Napa, like Napa, for example. They still have some, you know, old European traditions there. So, like from my perspective, when I was thinking about all of history, how the history developed, and the way we're like living right now, why we're living the way we're living right now. For example, like opium. Opium was very important that time, 300, 400 years ago. And the way everything developed around the opium, right now, in nowadays, I'm just feeling like people love it. Like some group of people really enjoy it. It's open up their creativity, in like different dimensions that they were exploring that time. Different knowledge, scientists, many scientists, for example,
Yeah.
when you about Ramdas. Ramdas, for example, he's writing in his book that he loves to take acid. He was a LSD lover because he was loved to take LSD for like a years as a professor because he loves to have the like a the openness towards the experience that he has and the knowledge and the way he want to develop the reality in his time. And I'm feeling like when he wanted to have more purity, understanding like about the purity, about the history, so he went to India to look for that purity. And that's why he was living in India for 5 or 7 years, and being just like a monk or like a just waiting for the right opportunities that arrive, or just being there meditating. And I'm feeling like everyone experiencing uh, some moments in our life, this enlightenment or the feeling of what we can create on the planet Earth while we're here with the tools that we have. And I feel like he did it. He created a community. He moved to Hawaii. He was doing a lot of like amazing things for the community, and like many people like about his books, and the way the philosophy and what he brought from India and from his understanding of community. And I'm feeling like the community right now, the way we're developing community, a global community right now, based on ideas, the food, the nutrition, the how the food, how we can make it the purity of or organic, um, like a food agriculture that we're doing right now here in Portugal. Like
Yeah.
so many communities, international communities, and America is very good at this. Like a hippies communities are very amazing. For example, in California and Florida, it's like just a great, happy, healthy community. That's
Yeah,
from my
they're
experience.
yeah, they're definitely for even for myself. I mean, I live down here in Florida, and it's one of those things where you kind of have to, there's always going to be like pros and cons with things. You're always going to have a bit of madness with success. You can't like this idea of living in a utopia, in this picture perfect reality, is not real. It will never be real. For the simple fact, you need the chaos in order to get better. The chaos makes the better better. Better? Hey.
I feel well. I have a little bit different like a viewpoint on it because, for example, I meet people in my life who is in their 40s, who is like have these dream pictures of that they like just imagining that picture, and they create that picture in the real like in the real life, and they just enjoying that picture like every day. It's maybe it's gonna be like a dream house or their dream restaurant or dream bar, whatever they created and where they wanted to put it, and somewhere in the world. And I'm feeling like I was interviewing them, and they said that I'm living my dream. This is my dream, and they show the picture like a drawing, that draw like many years ago. That was the picture, and they just enjoy to be in that picture, every day. I don't know, but like I just feel like some people really, when they're creating that picture, they just really enjoy to be in that picture. It's not about like being anywhere else. It's just to be in this picture, kind of thing. I don't know. It's kind
It's
of
like
like a was interesting feeling.
being in the moment, not
Exactly.
worrying about the past or the future. Just you live now.
Yeah, that's why exactly. That's why they just enjoy it because they just live
Yeah.
now. They don't want anything else. They're just living it, and it's enough for them.
I think expecting something, particularly, towards the end of our lives or what we call death. Hey, it's Dave, and I quickly just wanted to jump in and say if you've been enjoying the podcast, I'm enjoying this episode, if you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, that'll be so greatly appreciated. Because here's the thing, someone might read that review and make the choice if they want to listen to the podcast. You get to help grow this podcast with us. How fucking cool is that? Let's jump back to today's episode. It's very unrealistic because what we call nothing, nothing is something. You know, nothing is the absent of something, but it doesn't mean it isn't anything. You know, it's the way that we word things, it's the way that we view things, is how
Hmm.
we put our perspective on those things.
Exactly. The filter that we have through our
Hmm.
reality. I agree with you. I feel like we all have a perspective of our life. Yes, we're all like sharing the reality that we're living in, and at the same time, we have our own reality that we're living in as well.
Yeah,
It's like
through our own lenses.
through our own lenses, and that's the beauty of life itself. Because, for example, I was thinking sometimes when I'm communicating something to someone. For example, we have a conversation, and I said something that in my world is just funny, like very funny, and I think it's very positive, and it's just like uh, I said something from my perspective, it's funny, and I'm started to laugh at my own kind of like a joke, and the other person would look at me and say like, "What's this funny about this?" And I'm like, "You don't see the funny like a moment in this. And like I feel like a little bit like this tension, like a tension of me explaining why I see it funny and that the other person doesn't, like see this funny perspective, and like and having this like kind of like an argument of like other person doesn't see it funny, you know. So for me, it's like
Mm-hmm.
every time when I have this moment, I was like, what is happening within me that I have this little like conflict. That's why I have this conflict right now. It's me or me right now. So like I get to kind of like explain it or find a way to be as positive as possible about this, and don't escalate it. So like I giving hugs, or like I said, I love you, I didn't mean it, or please forgive me, and it was just misunderstanding. I don't want, in my mind, is like it doesn't make sense to escalate the the conversation, or like kind of escalate the misunderstanding of the reality that we're living in. And I don't want to kind of like go towards that negativity of exploring that, let's say like this, because like I prefer, it's my choice, living in my world the way I see it for myself. And when other people don't see it, it's up to them. I'm not here to kind of like explaining them, showing them, spend my time and energy of arguing about this or something like that. So like I feel it's better to say I love you, please forgive me, I'm sorry, something like that. So like and give a hug, like we're friends.
Yeah.
We just have misunderstanding of our reality. That's it.
I
Um,
think that I think people misunderstand people so much
yeah,
that it sometimes even breaks a relationship between two people, and it's not that you hate each other, it's the fact that you can't understand each other,
yeah,
and
correct.
but I don't know, I personally feel that sometimes those misunderstandings can be easily solved, but I
Yes,
feel like
correct. People
we just
don't
get
want to.
frustrated and we just say fuck this, we're not doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I feel like, for example, in my relationship, like I was telling my friends as well, like when I have relationship, like romantic relationship, I feel like when I'm spending with someone for like 5 years or 10 years of like of my life, this person was my family like all these years, and I spending like 10 years of my life, or like 15 years of my life with this person, and some kind of like a smaller disagreement is happening, and I'm feeling like I don't want to destroy my relationship with that person. Even so, there maybe romance is over. The thing is so many other things you can explore and can know about each other, and so you don't need to close that door of friendship and or like relationship towards the reality that we're living in, because we enjoy to be with that person like in a general, like a picture of it being in this relationship. And I'm feeling like people, they focusing in just one area and they don't want to see the whole picture of the influence of what we created together while we've been together. And I do see that, and I really appreciate that. And I feel like it's very important to appreciate that and say to that person, I'm always here for you no matter what. I'm your friend, and I want to like, and just like asking sometimes, how are you? Like, how's it? Like, just share some, maybe like some moments of
Yeah.
your life. Just like, just be like a friend, even though maybe they don't reply, or like they're still sad at you, whatever matter you, whatever. But like the thing is like you are still there showing up for them, you know. And that's, I feel like many people don't do that. And I feel like, why the people don't do that? I do that, and I'm feeling like, why you don't do that? I mean, for me, I really appreciate all these years that I spent. Yes, romance is finished, and I still like appreciate what we had together, how much I grow from this relationship, how much smarter I become, how much knowledge I got. Like it's growing, you're growing together. And you continue to grow when you continue to evolve and continue sharing with each other life, your little bit of your life, what's going on, what's happening, and be kind of inspired, or be like for support, or like it's sharing some knowledge in that moment, how they can improve something in their habits, or I don't know. I'm just feeling like people just stop to connect after what romance is finished, like from my observation of,
Yeah.
they cannot repair the relationship after the breakup.
A lot of I can give you a great example. Even for myself, I've been primarily been out of romantic relationships. I've had very, very few. Um, I was in one this year. It lasted 3 weeks, almost a month, and the one of the primary reasons was because we only knew each other for a short period, and we had 3 fights. Therefore, that's a deal breaker. My perspective is this: I feel a lot of times people come up with the most pathetic excuses imaginable. Because imagine if you took the same thing and said to your brother or mother, sister, best friend, go down the list, say the exact same thing to that person. Is that a lot? I can give you another example. People will break up. Well, you kissed another person, and therefore I no longer have a connection with you.
I don't know. Yeah, I know that
You understand what I'm
this
saying?
like
It's
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
these
I
unthoughtful perspectives as the reasons to end relationships that logically do not make any sense at all.
at all. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree with that. And this is what I was telling to the people. Like, I have friend, like I have in Norway, I have some friends who were like been married for 15 years and have like two kids and have a big beautiful house, and he betrayed her with some other woman. And I was telling her, listen, 15 years of your relationship, he was fine. I said something has just happened in relationship, so you get to just figuring out what had happened and just continue to work together. And it was like a whole like drama, and it was like a lot of crying and a lot of tears, sadness, and like blah 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 and blah blah blah. And it's been past already like 7 years, I think 8 years, and they're not together, but like they still don't talk to each other. They like the kids is like between, like a car is between, and they just kids is just walking towards mommy car and daddy car, and that's it. Parents is just like practically like just communicating via chats, and that's it. And I was talking to her, to my friend, and I said to her, why do you do that to yourself? And she said, oh, you don't understand anything. I said, like, yeah, probably I cannot give you any advice because I don't have kids. I'm not married, so I cannot give you any advice. I can give you some, like the ideas that you can think about if you're open to that. And she's not open. She's not open to like it's okay. I don't have, but I'm just feeling like sometimes people don't understand the value of the time that they spend together, and focusing on the beauty of that time that they spend together, you know, of all these years, all the
I
vacations,
think,
all these
yeah.
things that they experienced with the kids. The kids was born, you see the first, like it's amazing experiences, and I'm feeling people just because of that destroying everything that they experience.
Yeah, I think also, I can kind of also hear their perspective, which is where it almost belittles everything that has everything that's good that has come to them up until that point, that you have thrown everything not physically, out the window.
Hmm.
So what you end up with is people that can't talk to each other. They don't want to look at each other. They don't want to. I mean, it's terrible. I mean, especially when you have children, because now you have two parents that can't stand each other, won't talk to each other. So you have to
Yeah,
go back and forth. That is traumatizing for children.
it is. I,
Is that your
I
is
mean,
that
that's
your
what.
dog? Is
Yeah, two dogs.
that yours?
There. Yeah, two girls. Labradors. Two Labradors. Yeah,
You two Labradors?
yeah. 3 years
What
old.
kind? Oh, they're babies.
Yeah, they're babies. They're very
They're little
hyper.
babies.
You see them? Do you see that a little bit over there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like I can open up and you can see them. They can come down. Oh no, they cannot because the garage is open. So like it's like working.
But yeah.
I
Sorry
agree
for
with
that.
you. I don't want to look do like a. I'm just saying like everything is just perspective and the way you look at it, like how you get over something that in a big pictures it doesn't matter, you know, of when you started to happening like on a regular basis, something like that it hurts you, you get to ask yourself what is happening in a relationship or within me that I have this like it's showing up in my life, because I feel like everything is within, and every time when we're creating something we get to check in first with ourselves and ask ourselves what's happening in my world that I'm creating this drama or like this thing, why, you know, like. And I'm just feeling like it's all about being open to learn about life and appreciate life itself, like general. Because what happening like in reality, that's what's from my experience. When you're in relationship and like especially when you have kids in relationship, and after that, um, very few percentage of the people who end up in a healthy second relationship. Most of them they just go from relationship to relationship, you know, and they're not like anymore kind of focusing on um, how is to say like keep that relationship, because they're feeling I'm okay by myself, you know, I'm actually like figuring out it for myself, I'm fine, you know, something like that. Many like just when they're getting into relationship they feeling like I'm fine, if it's something happen I'm fine, you know, it's I don't need to kind of like this conversations. Or when you're like younger and you're like in a relationship, you kind of way more open, work together, like on the bigger picture or on the bigger plan, or like, you know, focusing on something more bigger that you're working together towards. And I feel like
Mm-hmm.
after a while it's just changed, because some people like kind of like lost, some people like lost the hope, and they just moving, you know, until the kids is growing up, and after they just don't know what even to do with their life, you know, and they just when the kids is out they just don't know even what to do, you know, they don't have any kind of like a motivation of growth.
Yeah. It it almost answers an unsolved mystery, which is we have a lot of ability of how we communicate and relate with people around us. But the more that we pay attention, we can realize that we literally turn people on and off. Like, think about it. You ever
Mm-hmm.
go back to a memory and you're like, oh, oh, they were there, right? Or oh, yeah, I remember them. So you're
Yeah.
turning them off. You did that consciously, but you're
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, oh yeah, but you don't. Your mind is constantly trying to avoid thinking about them, memories, things that happen.
That's true. And I feel like after I mean sometimes I think or believe that life giving us a second chance to look at things a little bit more closer and pay attention to some more details and understanding the value of your own life, you know, and I feeling like everyone get to decide that value for themselves and grow from that value. And I feel sometimes from women, from my perspective, like every woman can be different, and I feel like it's a value in the man that she's investing, you know, and she's investing her energy, her time, and like what he's worth right now and how much he can grow to the next level, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
because she's in the picture with him, she like he's feeling way more motivated, he wants to grow way more and he wants to do more things, because when women is believing in him and every time saying I believe in you, you know, and you can do it, you know, and even so he's like lose today doesn't matter, tomorrow it's a new day, you know, like, and you can win again, it's like general you already winner, you know. I feeling like I feel women brings the value in the man life, and I'm feeling like everyone get to decide for themselves what they want in life, each woman or man. I feel like we're all in charge of our own reality and the way we want to have that picture or lifestyle or way of being or way of living. Everyone get to decide where they want to be, and don't have any like a second thought about that. Just decide this is what I want. That's it. And like, of course, you will have a different reaction of your friends in the beginning. Of your, um, and it's okay. It's normal. I call it like cleansing of the reality who is who as well when you make that pure decision for yourself.
Yeah.
Who is your really friends, who is will support you with your decision, and who is like just judging you or like jealous of you. It would be
And and clinging on to you,
mhm,
not letting you breathe.
exactly.
There is something about having meaningful people in your life, and it's almost where, it's like a personal investment, you know, not only in yourself but in the other person. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but there are times that, like, when you have someone that's important to you and they like succeed, even though it has nothing to do with you, you kind of feel excited also. You ever have that? It's like, I'm not doing this.
I
Like, I'm
have it
not getting
all the
anything.
time, and because I'm general, like I'm very like generally happy and joyful human being, and I'm really excited for others' success, and I'm really happy like from my heart that others succeed, and I'm really like having this feeling of joy, of that experience with them, that I'm sharing this moment with them. And I'm feeling like that's something very beautiful and unique to experience, special when you like in a big like areas, and where your friends do something bigger than themselves, and after like you there supporting them. I'm feeling that that's amazing feeling to have.
Yeah.
Because I love
I
that feeling.
Yeah. It's, I mean, the more that we talk about, it's almost where we're on this planet for some reason. Like, if you believe in science, if you don't believe in science, the way that we exist, there's a reason why we exist. There's a reason why humans have only survived because we developed language and communities. We don't survive on our own. Some people do. Some people really do. But most of us need other people. We cannot survive any other way. And why is that? I don't think we know, but it is very significant.
It is. And I feel like special now in our community that we're living in, people understanding the power of the dreams and the power they can influence, the power of the creator, and the way they can like influence the reality by being there, like sharing the voice and continue to share the voice for years and years and years. I feel like it's create impact in the people minds. Like that's what my experience of, like, for example, me reading and following the journey of Robin Sharma. He's a writer, and he was one of my like favorite writers like for many many years, and I'm just following his journey. And he continuously sharing with people about to be positive, continue to be joyful, continue to like create impact, continue to be helpful, be in service, and it doesn't matter like what service you choose, but do that with a gratitude in your heart, and like like doing this work of um, sharing his gratefulness towards the world that he has, and he continuously creating this and evolving other people into his life, like Tony Robbins, for example. I feel like by him sharing his values and being example for others, doing his business the way he's doing it, by motivating and inspiring so many people around the United States and around the world, I feel like he's doing his best to be example. And I feel like it's completely different, um, like I call it like a level of being example as a human being and dedicate himself towards the work that he's doing through his life. it means a lot from my perspective when people do these things for the humanity. And yes, they're making money. It's a normal win-win situation when you're putting your heart and your soul towards that. It's a natural thing that is happening. It's the people putting that value in you, and that's why you
Yeah.
value so much, because the people put that value. You're just putting
Yeah.
the numbers there, and people agree with that number, and you just say, and they slowly like growing your value because they want you. They want this to experience your energy. They want to be there, like sharing this moment with you, sharing what you're sharing, and I'm feeling like they understand the impact with the mind, what mind can create. Not so many people dare to dream to that level and
Yeah.
take responsibility over that level of, I call it like letting go of the control and just like be authentic.
It's being able to get into the depths of your own self. It's being able to find a way to make your own purpose. I feel like so many times we have other people making our own purpose. Mm, you gotta figure. And look, it's not an easy route to be an artistic person or to be somebody that's creative or passionate to make a good living. I mean, you have to figure out a way to survive. And if it's cars, then it's cars. If it's welding, then it's welding. If it's architecture, it's architecture. It doesn't make you less of a person.
Exactly. I feel it's that like the value or the impact we create already by being here is already enough. By sharing and being
Yeah.
in the planet Earth, it's already
Mm.
enough. It's not about like what status you have, what background. It's just because you are here. It's already enough. It's more than enough. And continue to create the
Should be
value and
enough.
continue to build. You create a better life, not just for yourself, but many others around you. That's how I see
Yeah.
that. And I feel like it's not so many people in our lifetime, like at least in my like they sharing the same vision or like understanding of the vision that we can all move towards that peaceful way of living where we don't need to fight. We don't need to like decide who is more right and who is less right. I'm just feeling like everyone get to decide for themselves what matters for them while they're here, and be open enough to share, uh, like when they need support, and ask for that support and be vulnerable to ask for that support.
Yeah. It's where being in that mindset of that, you're on your own and nobody's there to support you or help you. It will ruin your life. I promise you that. I mean, there are people in your life. Some people maybe more, and some people maybe less. But I'm sure, like, there are people that you can reach out that can give you that support. And if you're the type of person that says, "Well, I don't have any person like that in my life," maybe you're the problem, right? You
Exactly. Yeah.
know?
You gotta be open. That's what I was like understood. Like so many people, like all world is my family. All the planet Earth is my family, and like it's so many places that I haven't gone yet, and my family is just there waiting for me. This is how I
That
look at it.
so I would assume you are a world traveler.
Yeah, my family's everywhere. But that's
How many
the
how many countries have you visited?
well, around 70. And there's
Oh,
so much to go. So many
only
countries to go.
70.
Yeah. I
Wow.
mean, I'm very happy. I mean, I'm very happy because it was like a part of my life when I was traveling so much. And it's tiring, when you're traveling a lot all the time. It's tiring as well. And the funny things, what I don't know about traveling is when I'm traveling, I'm actually spending way more less money than when I'm living normal normal life. Um, like it's just completely different way of being, and it's also tiring because you you're so creative. You every time kind of like having all this like creative ideas to experiment and go to the new places and try like new meet new friends who wants to go there, go like in the mountains, do like so many amazing adventure. And when you include yourself to all these different adventures, it's amazing. The thing is also like tiring, like after like while you get to decide which group of the friends you want to like be with. And from my perspective, I would like to kind of create my own like a I call like a creative hub of my friends who wants to come and visit and live with me here where I am, because I feel like it would be way more fun uh, when you have your own people like who really dedicated their ideas and life towards something like healthy and happy and humble. That's something
Yeah.
like who's the stoners like me. So
D-
you can be like
Uh,
you can be
no,
philosophical.
that was the
Yeah.
thing though. Like, I'm not a world traveler. I've only been to a handful of places, but when I was in Britain, that was one thing that kind of pissed me off. Is like, there's no stoners there. I mean, like, there probably are,
Probably
but
are. You just
they're all
didn't. You haven't
hidden.
met them. You haven't met them. I just think like you haven't met these people um, who was there. You just haven't met them because you've been doing more maybe like a touristic things or like a touristic. I was
No,
trying to find like
I
a.
have I have actually a friend that lives out in Manchester, so
Oh, Manchester is very cool. I think Manchester is a very cool spot.
it
It's like a
is.
lot of things there. It's um, a lot of things, a lot of cool things to visit, to see, and it's a and very beautiful city. I don't know about people, but I think it's a very beautiful city itself.
It is. I mean, yeah. I mean, how many? Okay, so you said you've been to like 70 plus countries. Okay, was it like mostly Europe or was it like mostly Asia?
Mostly Europe, mostly Asia, Africa, South America. I
Oh,
travel like 42 states of America, and I had the opportunity like to go to Alaska, and I didn't. My friend was she was living there for like a year. She invited me several times to visit her, and I was like depressed. I was at time like depressed and a little bit like down,
it's not a
and like
place to go. Like,
and I was feeling like if I would go right now to Alaska for like a week, it's gonna be it just take too much of me. But I would sometimes I'm like right now like when I'm looking back, I'm like I'm supposed to just go because I would probably feel a little bit better. Like I learned one thing about me, like when I'm feeling like a little bit um like shitty or like I like call it like sad, a little bit like not depressed because it's normal. Like as a creative person, you have these moments of like up and downs, and I feel like general like I'm a very positive person, and I have this like a moment when I'm sad or feeling like not good about the things, and like I'm a little bit disappointed or upset, so like or frustrated. So I'm giving myself that space and just see how long it's going to be, because before I didn't give myself that space. I was like, no, I get to be like positive and chanting and do my mantras, and kind of like it's good to stay in that space. And it's not good because after a while you're numbing yourself, and after a while you don't even understand the feelings of others, like when they're going through sadness or something like deep. You cannot understand it because you're staying in this high vibration, and you kind of like doing your best to uplift them. And but they're not there. Sometimes people don't need to be uplifted. They just need that somebody to listen to them. That's it, and give them a hug.
yeah, you don't even have to use any words. It's just we all have our different love languages, and that's not necessarily sexual or romantic. It's just a way of how we are comforted, and how we connect to other people. One thing that one thing just out of observation, women tend to be a lot better at love language towards other women than men are towards other men. Like, generally speaking, like, a lot of women are able to comfort, their, but men, bro, like, don't touch me, man. That's homo. What? Like, guys
Yeah,
get
it's
weirded
right.
out when they hug each other. Like, bro,
You
weird.
know, when I was living in Florida, it was the same about women. Like, I'm a very touchy person. Touch is my first language of love, and I'm touching a lot, and I love it. I love to touch, and I just decided like it was a moment of my life when I was scared to touch because people getting like different thoughts and different ideas, and I'm like, it's something is wrong, like, and I'm like. I get to communicate it. So I started to listen, and people said like because I'm touching too much, and I'm kind of like making people like kind of be attached to me. Like they kind of start want to be closer to me and more closer, and like and kind of feeling so cozy around me that it's and I don't,
Damn, they haven't
I
seen action.
yes, and I feel like it's nice, and at the same time I don't mean it. For example, like I was the ghosts, like I was in Florida, there was many, I was hanging out with many ghosts, and I was always touching, and they were always hanging out in my house. And one day, after like a month or two of hanging out almost every day, I'm like saying to the ghosts, why are you like all the time, why we always hang out in my house, or like why we not go to your house or to your house? And they said because it's so cozy, you're making the place so cozy, and you're like so welcoming, and you are so like warm, and you're like very touchy, that I would like to just like be next to you and just kind of like you're giving this like mama bear feeling, And I'm like, okay, it's very good to know. And at the same time, I'm like, it just happened like so natural. And one girl, she was like into me, and like, and I was like, I'm not into girls. What's happening, and what's like, and I was very open. I mean, I told her, I'm very open. I don't mind that you like me and everything like that. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm not into that. Are you okay with that? And it was like a very nice, like a transition, towards like being friends. She was a little bit. She's very also creative. She's an artist, and like, and she was a little bit upset. I remember, and she didn't talk to me for like a few weeks or something.
Oh
And
my god.
yes, when the people don't, I'm not a scary of like a rejection. Like it's not, it's like, and I used to say to people, okay, it's like you can be rejected in the romantic way. It's so many other ways you can hang out and like having great time. It's like it doesn't need to be necessary that way, It's just, it's a human interaction can be in so many different ways, and like it's like I don't see any point of saying someone I like you, and like, and if he says to me I don't like you, I say like, okay, cool, like we can continue to be friends, continue to play. Like I was so, it was like some moments of my life when I was doing acro, and I was rejected like a few times, like inviting the guys on a date or something like that, and I was like still friends, we still continue to do acro yoga, we continue to like do the things. I was super like chill and positive, and like continue. And one day he was like, after 3 months, I don't remember even, like he came, like one of the guy came to me and said like, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to like say no, I'm just like my reasons was, and he started to explain his reasons, and I'm like, I even forgot already about that, I don't even think, like it's not a big deal in my mind, in my world, it's not a big deal at all, and I don't know why people making such a big deal of it. And everyone's look at me like I'm kind of weirdo, like I'm weird.
You're not.
And they said to me, you're not afraid of rejection? I'm like, what? It's just a conversation, and like it's just, we have a different realities right now, and everyone has a reasons to say yes or no, and that's it. I don't need to kind of like think why. And sometimes I do, if I'm like, for example, last time I've been hang out and like romantically, and I was like so in love, crazy. It was like a crazy level of love, in love. And I was sharing with my best friends about that, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't been in love for like a while, and I love to be in love. I just know that it's just for like a little bit. I know like it's like about 3 months, so, and it's going away. I already
You
know
already
myself.
even know.
No, yes, and I'm like, I don't know how long it's going to be. Like it's very nice. We hang out in a month, and I started to tell him, I'm curious about just casual. I don't want to have anything like serious or like moving towards serious things. I'm not into that right now. And he was like, why? And I'm like, I'm focusing on myself this year. It's just going to be me, myself, and I, because I get to develop my career, stable, like I make myself way more stable than I want, like very, very strong. And I will focus on just myself. But when I have time, I don't mind to like see you. And what happened is it hurts his ego, and it was like many different things. And I was asking him after like 3 weeks or something. I said to him, what's going on, what's happening, like why did you react to that like this? Because from the beginning we agree that it's going to be like this. And when when I meant it for real and you didn't, and that was the difference, because I meant what I said and the other person didn't. And I'm like, why did it why other people want to say something to you that you want to hear? In reality, they don't want the same things. And that's the funny part. And I'm feeling like sometimes in relationship, it's like you can agree about some things, and after a while, you see an actions. But I don't pay attention to the actions. I'm too like focusing on myself. I'm just too focusing on my career, and I don't see what's the happening around me in that moment. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to start pay attention to that. Like, and I listen to myself like, yes, I get to do that, and I still don't do that. I'm not good at it to pay attention what's happening around me, because I'm so busy to creating what I want to create that I don't see
Yeah.
anything around me. And that is so funny, because my friend, she's like, like one time we were she said to me, we have a group of friends, and she said to me like, this guy like you so much, and we meeting up like for dinners, just hang out. And I was like thinking all this time, I have many like gay friends, and I was thinking he's gay, one of the like gay people. And I love him as a human being, amazing. My gay community here is amazing. I love them so much. They're like giving me such amazing suggestions and amazing. I'm really blessed. And I'm feeling like when it happened, he said like, no, I like girls. I said like, oh, I was like, sometimes I don't understand. I have like, because I'm living in my world, I don't understand. I'm thinking like, I'm already putting like everyone in one like kind of one
One
box.
box. Yeah.
Box. And my friend, she came to me and she said to me, I noticed it in the first day, like some months ago, when he started to come to our company, that he likes girls. And how you didn't notice? I said, I don't know. I just like when I'm with my friends, if they don't tell me that this is the guy you get to meet, like a kind of like he would be good for you or something like that, I will not even think about anything at all. I would be like in my flow, doing me, like super happy, super joyful. And that's what's happening sometimes. My friends say to me, "You don't see anything around you, nothing." It's so crazy, and it's true. I'm like, I get to pay attention. I'm like, I get to start to pay attention to what's going on around me.
Wait, um, let me ask you, what? So you currently, you do real estate, but you also like own like a hotel, if I'm not mistaken, or you
It
used
was
to.
before. It was like 5 years ago, like about 5 years, like 4 years ago, before
So what do you
COVID.
So what are you
Right
currently
now, I'm
doing
doing
now?
well. Right now, I'm doing art. I'm preparing for my next art exhibition, solo exhibition. That's going to be publishing my second book. Probably like getting some projects next year. I'm working on that. More like creative project that I like. Maybe like doing some art for the hotel, maybe for some. bigger, like I don't know, I'm just like thinking what I want for next year. It's like manifesting that slowly in my life.
Um, what kind of art have you been making currently?
More abstract. It's like a more
Mm-hmm.
abstract, like I'm using right now a lot of like a golden colors. um
Ooh,
so it's like it's going to be my next exhibition is going to be all about like space and galaxy and the universe and the energy, the way the universe works, the way the energy works. I will like each my piece is going to be connected to the space, the energy in space.
nice.
Like everything is just like energy itself, and I want to kind of like guide people through my work.
Yeah. Well,
It's so
no, I
connected to
honestly think
space.
I think it's really cool that you're using gold. I mean, because hey, shimmer, glitter. Nothing wrong with shimmer and glitter.
No, at all. I for
Oh,
example, I believe in unicorns and mermaids.
you do?
And I believe, yes, I do believe in that. And I meet a lot of unicorns and mermaids in Florida, for example. It's amazing. I really, and fairies as well. I meet in North Carolina a lot of fairies. It was so beautiful. I don't know how to explain it, but I just know it. Because I'm also like mushrooms, I trip it. I'm kind of like, it was a time of my life when I was shrooming a lot. And I moving towards different realms, and my realm was more like a fairy tales and like seeing other people as fairy tale role, you know, was like very
I get
beautiful.
you. I've
I don't
done
know how to
shrooms
explain
before,
it.
so no, shrooms is interesting. It kind of takes you into a different reality. You know, you're almost in a different dimension. You know, and
Yeah,
what we perceive in this reality is to be fiction. In that reality, it's something completely different.
yeah. For example, I'm a
It's actually
witch.
more real and alive.
You
Hmm?
know, in my I'm a witch, or like I call like more like it's like a not like a witch, but I know about witchcraft. I understand some powers of like magical powers. I understand how to navigate the energy, how to play with energy, how to like create energy. I feel like everyone has that different powers when they access to that reality or that realm, and not so many people open to explore that. I get scared first time. I mean, it's normal, I think. And after when you're like facing it and exploring it, I feel like everyone has everything in them. Like dark cannot go with light. Everything is connected and they're connected. So like, and there's so many colors, and we have a powers to create from the darkness light. We can filter it, and it's going to be more colorful or more like delightful. It depends the level we're vibrating on in this realm, or like in this body. I believe
Yeah.
like everything is about frequency, and our frequency can change. Depends what we eating and how we where we are in the world. It's a different frequency and a different waves. So you never know. Like you never know which frequency you are right now, because you can have the idea, and in like in your kind of like analytical mind. In reality, you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's the beauty of it. You never know. It's just like
Yeah.
you get to be. I believe when we authentic ourselves, no matter what, in which environment we are, in which settings we attracted the people who is vibrating in the same level, or like the same frequency in that moment.
Yeah.
That's my kind of like idea of reality that I'm
I
living.
mean, we are made out of energy. You know, that energy's got to go somewhere. So
It's always moving.
yeah, it's always moving.
It's always moving.
And
So yeah.
the thing is, it's infinite. It never dies. You know, it always survives. So meaning, like, even when we die, we are still alive in some way, in a form of energy.
In the form of energy. I mean, we just,
Mhm.
in my perspective, like it's never ending life. You consistently living. It's you just moving from place to place, from the reality to reality, and it's just different reality that you get to adapt. And this reality we're living like the things was created by us. Actually, when you're going deeper in the mind, you see absolutely everything what we have, what we use right now, we created with our mind. And that's the beauty of how powerful our mind is, how much we can create actually, and how much
Yeah.
we continue to creating. Like think about the blockchain right now. Like we're creating a blockchain, so it's a virtual rooms that can be any size that you want. It can be like whole planet, it can be like whole universe, a galaxy, whatever you decide. It's just no limits how big a blockchain can be.
Yeah.
So like it's beautiful. And the same time I'm feeling like you cannot see that in this world, and it exists in the virtual world, with everything, with all the data that we have, and all the knowledge of the of the coding that we have, like we understand with our minds. And I feel like I would like to create more like a program people towards more joyful mindset. From my perspective, like when they started to appreciate the life they have, they appreciate absolutely everything that life brings for them. I feel their life become way more rich, and they can live more meaningful life for themselves, and they understand that they have time for absolutely anything that they want to live while they're
Yeah.
here. That it's time for absolutely everything. And when people understand that, I feel when they find that peace within, that they can live all their dream in this lifetime, I feel that's why they can calm their mind and appreciate uh, what they have now.
Yeah.
And
Not what they've had in the past, and not what they have later.
exactly.
Um, Question for you. I know you have social media. Where can like people reach out to you, or maybe, for example, find your art? Or if they're in Portugal, which I don't know if we have any. We definitely have interesting people from all over the world. But yeah, do you have any socials or any websites?
People can reach me on through my website. It's Aisha.today, AISHI dot today, where people can see my art, some of my artworks, my book that I published, Joyful Living Guidebook. People can find on Amazon and just like Google it, Joyful Living Guidebook by Aisha Makara. And I also have a mentorship program called like Joyful Living, where the program is 3 months, 6 months, and 12 months, where actually I guide people towards the dream life or towards their, joyful life, or improve some parts of the life. And yeah, so people can like just book time through that. I don't use so much social media. I have like Joyful Living Guide. My social media, it's Instagram. I'm just using Instagram right now. And like I
Keeping it simple.
feel, yes, I want to like make it as simple as I can, and I'm just doing like a podcast and like sponsoring some programs right now, working towards started to be probably like investor and sponsor, and just like helping other people. But I can invest in them in so many different ways. It does like it's not about the all the time about money. It's about a knowledge. I feel like the knowledge, the direction, the network that you can share with people, it's more value than just giving them money sometimes.
It is very much so. Aisha, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. You are a very interesting person in a very good way because, like, hey, what's a better way of getting a better perspective with the joy of living in dream life, right?
Yes, from my
Uh,
perspective, it's all about dreaming big.
yeah,
Dreaming big, I can give like
yeah.
a believing in yourself. Always be positive, have a positive attitude, and practice gratitude. Gratitude is the
Amen.
foundation of everything.
Hmm. For anybody out there that want to find the podcast, you can find us on pretty much all social media at Lost in the Groove Pod. So with that, catch you in the next one. All right, thank you so much. Bye, everybody.